There is a moment that comes for everyone. Maybe it's already come for you. It's the moment you're sitting in the wreckage of something, a failure, a heartbreak, a loss, a life that didn't turn out the way you were promised it would, and you're waiting for someone to come, for the right person to show up and fix it, for the lucky break, the rescue, the sign, the savior. You've been waiting a long time. And slowly, quietly, a terrible truth begins to settle over you. Nobody is coming. No one is going to ride in and save you. Not your parents, not a partner, not a mentor, not fate, not luck. The rescue you've been waiting for your entire life is not on its way. And I know how that sounds: cold, harsh, almost cruel. But Carl Jung, one of the deepest explorers of the human mind who ever lived, would tell you that this is not the worst news you will ever receive. It is, in fact, the beginning of the only real freedom you will ever know. Because the day you finally stop waiting to be saved is the day you discover the one person who actually can save you was there the whole time. You. Today I'm going to walk you through Jung's hard, liberating truth about self-rescue. Why no one is coming, why that's the best thing that could happen to you, and how to become the person who saves themselves. This won't be comfortable. But by the end, you may finally understand that the rescue you've been praying for was never going to come from outside, because it was always meant to come from within. If you're ready to stop waiting and start saving yourself, type "nobody is coming" in the comments. Let's begin. Let's start with the waiting, because almost everyone is doing it, and almost no one admits it. Most people are, in some quiet corner of themselves, waiting to be rescued. They don't say it out loud. They might not even know they're doing it. But it's there, running underneath everything. The belief that one day, somehow, someone or something will arrive and make it all okay. The perfect relationship that will complete them. The mentor who will finally see their potential. The opportunity that will change everything. The parent who will finally give the approval they never gave. The moment when life will simply become easier, lighter, fixed. And so they wait. They stay in a kind of holding pattern, half living, keeping themselves in reserve for the moment the real life is supposed to begin. They put off becoming who they could be, because on some level they believe that becoming is someone else's job to trigger. Jung saw this clearly. He understood that this waiting is one of the great tragedies of human life, because the rescue never comes, and the waiting itself becomes the prison. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That line holds the whole key. The waiting, the belief that you are powerless until someone or something outside you changes your situation, is usually unconscious. You don't know you're doing it, so it runs your life from the shadows. It makes you passive. It makes you blame your circumstances, your past, your parents, your bad luck. It keeps you in the role of the one who things happen to, rather than the one who acts. And as long as that belief stays unconscious, as long as you never drag it into the light and look at it, it will direct your entire life. You'll call the result fate. You'll say, "This is just how things went for me." When the truth is that you were waiting, all along, for a rescue that was never coming, and the waiting itself was the thing keeping you trapped. Now let's ask the harder question. Why do we wait? Where does this deep, almost universal belief that someone should come and save us actually come from? Jung's answer takes us back to the very beginning, to childhood. When you were a child, someone did save you. That's not weakness, that's how human life works. A baby is completely helpless. When you were hungry, someone fed you. When you cried, someone came. When you were in danger, a larger, more powerful being stepped in and made it right. For years, your entire survival depended on being rescued by someone bigger than you. This is the deepest, earliest pattern of the human psyche. I am small, I am helpless, and salvation comes from outside, from a powerful other. And here's the problem. Most people never fully update that pattern. Their bodies grow up. Their circumstances change. But somewhere deep in the psyche, that child is still running the show, still waiting for the powerful other to come and fix things, still believing that rescue is something that arrives from outside. So the grown adult keeps unconsciously searching for a parent figure. They look for it in romantic partners, hoping to be completed and taken care of. They look for it in bosses and mentors and gurus, hoping to be chosen and elevated. They look for it in systems, in luck, in some imagined future rescuer. They are, without knowing it, a grown person still waiting for mommy or daddy to come and make the pain stop. The greatest tragedy of the family is the unlived lives of the parents. Jung understood how much we inherit from this. We carry our parents' patterns, their unfinished business, their way of seeing the world, deep into our own lives. And one of the most common inheritances is this stance of waiting, of looking outside for what can only be built inside. To grow up, truly grow up, means something specific and difficult in Jung's psychology. It means withdrawing that projection. It means taking back the power you handed to the imagined rescuer and placing it where it actually belongs, in your own hands. It means becoming, for yourself, the powerful other you've been waiting for. This is what Jung meant by a huge part of individuation, the process of becoming a whole, complete, self-governing person. And it cannot happen while you're still waiting to be saved. The waiting and the becoming are opposites. As long as you're looking outward for rescue, you cannot turn inward to build the thing that would actually rescue you. You have to stop waiting before you can start becoming. So let's talk about that moment, the moment the waiting ends. Because it usually doesn't end gently. It ends in a kind of collapse. The relationship you thought would save you falls apart. The mentor turns out to be just a person. The lucky break doesn't come, or it comes and doesn't fix anything. The rescue fails again and again, until one day you're standing in the ruins and the terrible, liberating truth finally breaks through. Nobody is coming. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. This is one of the most painful realizations a person can have. And Jung would tell you it is also one of the most important, because it is the death of an illusion that was quietly killing you. As long as you believed rescue was coming, you never had to take full responsibility for your own life. You could always defer. You could always wait. You could always tell yourself that your real life would begin when the Savior arrived. But the moment you truly accept that no one is coming, really accept it in your bones, not just as an idea, something shifts. The waiting ends. And in the space where the waiting used to be, something new can finally be born: agency. The understanding that if anything is going to change, you are the one who has to change it. This is why Jung didn't see this realization as despair. He saw it as the doorway to real adulthood, real freedom, real power. Because the flip side of "nobody is coming to save me" is the most empowering sentence a human being can ever speak. Therefore, I must save myself, and therefore I can. The moment you stop giving your power to an imaginary rescuer, that power comes back to you. All of it. The energy you were spending on waiting, on hoping, on scanning the horizon for help, it all comes home. And it becomes the fuel for actually building the life you were waiting for someone else to hand you. Now, I want to be very careful here, because this idea gets twisted constantly, and Jung would have hated the distortion. Nobody is coming to save you does not mean you should reject all help, push everyone away, and grind through life in bitter isolation. That's not strength, that's another wound wearing a mask. Saving yourself does not mean doing everything alone. It means something more subtle and more mature. It means you stop requiring rescue, stop waiting for it, stop making your life contingent on it. And from that place of self-responsibility, you can then accept help freely, as a partner rather than a beggar. There's a world of difference between the person who needs to be saved and the person who's saving themselves and welcomes support along the way. The first hands their power to others and resents them when the rescue doesn't come. The second keeps their power, does their own work, and lets others walk beside them by choice. Jung believed deeply in connection, in relationship, in the ways we help each other become whole. What he opposed was the passivity, the outsourcing of your own becoming to someone else. You can have people in your life. You can be helped, loved, mentored, supported. But you must be the one holding the pen that writes your life. No one else can take that role, and the tragedy is how many people spend their whole lives trying to give it away. So how do you actually do this? How do you become the person who saves themselves? Jung's psychology points toward a real path, and it's harder than any rescue fantasy, but it's the only one that works. Let me walk you through it. The first step is to catch yourself waiting. Bring the unconscious pattern into the light. Start noticing all the ways you've quietly outsourced your rescue, the future partner who will complete you, the break that'll fix everything, the day things will magically get easier. Notice where you're living in a holding pattern, keeping yourself in reserve, telling yourself the real life starts later when the savior comes. You can't change a pattern you can't see. So the first act of saving yourself is simply to become conscious of how much you've been waiting to be saved. That awareness alone begins to break the spell. The second step is to withdraw the projection and take back your power. Every rescuer you've been waiting for is carrying a piece of your own power that you handed them. The partner you hoped would complete you, that wholeness was always yours to build. The mentor you hoped would choose you, that validation was always yours to give yourself. The parent whose approval you're still, decades later, waiting for, you can become the source of your own approval now. Jung's whole method is about reclaiming these projected pieces, one by one, and integrating them back into yourself. Every time you take back a piece of power you gave away, you become more whole, more capable, more your own. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The third step is to take radical responsibility, not blame, responsibility. There's a crucial difference. Blame looks backward and asks whose fault it is. Responsibility looks forward and asks, given where I am, what will I do now? You may not be to blame for where you find yourself. You may have been genuinely wronged, genuinely dealt a bad hand, genuinely failed by the people who should have shown up. Jung is not asking you to pretend otherwise. He's asking you to grasp the one thing that will actually free you, regardless of whose fault it is. You are the only one who can do something about it now. The rescue isn't coming. So the response is up to you. That is the hardest and most powerful stance a human being can take, to stop asking, why did this happen to me, and start asking, what will I build from here? And the fourth step is to do the actual work of becoming, the slow, unglamorous, unrescued work. This is the part the rescue fantasy always skips. There's no lightning bolt, no savior, no single moment that changes everything. There's just the daily practice of showing up for your own life, facing the things you've avoided, doing the shadow work of meeting the parts of yourself you've hidden, building the skills, the discipline, the inner strength, one ordinary day at a time. It's slower than a rescue. It's harder than a rescue. But unlike a rescue, it's real and it's yours, and no one can ever take it away because you built it yourself. Here is what Jung ultimately understood and what I want you to take from all of this. The fantasy of being saved is, in the end, a fantasy of staying a child, of remaining small and helpless and cared for, of never having to grow into your own power. And there's a part of every one of us that wants that finds it easier to wait than to build, easier to hope for rescue than to take responsibility. That part isn't evil, it's just afraid. But it cannot be allowed to run your life, because the life it builds is a life of waiting, a life spent in the waiting room, watching the door, for a rescuer who is never going to walk through it. The moment you accept that nobody is coming is the moment you're finally free to grow up, free to reclaim the power you scattered across 100 imagined saviors, free to become the strong, whole, self-governing person you were always capable of being, the one who doesn't need to be rescued because they've learned to rescue themselves. That person was always inside you. They were just waiting for you to stop waiting for someone else. And here's the final turn, the one that makes all of this not cold but strangely beautiful. When you become the person who can save yourself, you finally become capable of real connection because you're no longer coming to others as a beggar, desperate to be rescued. You come to them whole. You can love without needing to be completed. You can be helped without handing over your power. You can walk beside people instead of clinging to them. The person who has saved themselves is the only person truly free to love, because they need nothing from you except your company. That is the gift hidden inside the hard truth. Nobody is coming to save you, and in accepting that fully, you become someone who no longer needs saving, and who can finally, freely be there for others too. So I'll leave you with the only question that matters. Will you keep waiting in the ruins for a rescue that isn't coming, or will you stand up, take back your power, and become the one you've been waiting for? If your answer is the second one, drop "I save myself" in the comments right now. Speak it into existence. Make that promise to yourself, because nobody is coming to save you. That's not the end of your hope. It's the beginning of your power. The one you've been waiting for all this time was you.